Welcome back to another episode of Get Intentional with Mary. I'm your host, Mary Massey, and today I have a very special episode in store for you. This was my very first in-person interview, and I couldn't be more excited to have my guest and friend, Joshua Saadi from Polo Spread Love, right here with me at the Vault Recording Studio in Boonton, New Jersey. In today's episode, we dive deep into the power of love, connection, and making a difference in the world. My guest, Joshua, has a remarkable story to share. He emphasizes the importance of being in tune with our feelings as he recalls going through a tough time and experiencing dark moments in his life. But in the midst of it all, one source of happiness and comfort stood out for Josh, his dog Polo. As a fellow dog owner, I'm sure that many of you can relate to the joy our furry friends bring into our lives. But for Josh, Polo became so much more than just a pet. Together, they embarked on a journey to spread love and give back to the community. So listen on as you learn how during a cancer walk, Polo had a life-altering encounter with a survivor that left him and Josh in complete awe. You'll see how the impact of their genuine connection made them realize the true power of love and the importance of spreading it to those around them. In this episode, we're also going to explore Joshua's motivations, the internal factors that led him to turn his dog into a beacon of happiness, and how his personal struggles fueled his compassion for others. We also delve into the support he received during his upbringing and the pivotal role his mom played during his journey. Get ready for an episode filled with heart, empathy, and the power to make a difference. Join us as we uncover the extraordinary story of Joshua Saadi and his mission to spread love through Polo. Let's dive right in and get intentional about creating a brighter, more compassionate world together. But before we do, make sure that you share this episode with someone. Help us spread Joshua's message of love and light. I'm very excited today because it's my first time doing an in-person podcast episode, and we are here at the Vault in Boonton, New Jersey, my hometown. And I'm very proud to say that my very first in-person guest is Joshua Saadi of Polo Spread Love. So Josh, thank you so much for being here, for being on Get Intentional with Mary, and for taking the time to drive all the way over here for this very special episode. So please tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much. Well, Mary, it was an honor to be your first guest. So this is truly an honor being a good friend of mine and a big supporter of ours. My name is Joshua Saadi, and this is Polo, the creator of our mission and movement. What we do, we try to bring awareness to different causes all around the world. We do that through give back programs through our clothing brand, but more importantly, we do that through the community's help. We try to put out great products out there where people can support, and in turn, it's tied to a great organization that we give back to.
Awesome. Now, I always like to ask every guest, how did you get started? And I know a lot of people have already heard your story, but maybe my audience hasn't quite yet. So tell us how the movement began.
Oh, it was a life-changing day back in October 15, 2013 at a breast cancer walk with the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer American Cancer Society. Funny story, I dressed him up in a pink suit back in October 1st of 2023, and I saw the Empire State Building light up in pink, and one thing leads to another. I go to get his tailor-made pink blazer that's famous now, and we stand in front of the Empire State Building, took a picture, and it hit me. I said, why was it pink this day? And it was Breast Cancer Awareness Month in honor of it. And I said to myself, it would be great to take Polo to an event and make him kind of an ambassador for breast cancer and raising awareness through him. So we ended up at this walk, and yet, he became a star that day with all the walkers. And one instance in particular, we were walking, let's say, south, and a family with their survivor is walking north, and we're crossing paths, and 20 feet away from each other, this warrior gets down on her knee and looks at Polo eye to eye, and Polo starts pulling the leash, and I let go of the leash, and yet, he starts to make her teary-eyed, and she starts to get a little emotional, and you feel the power of love that in that moment. And for me, I've never felt what that felt like. I've never seen my dog do that to somebody else. I kind of wanted to harness that feeling and kind of say to myself, this is what the world needs. This is what people in need. This is a feeling that you can't go into a store and buy. This is a feeling that you have to kind of create. And that was the day of creation, October 2013. So we're almost at 10 years. Wow.
Wow. But a lot of people have dogs. A lot of people take their dogs out and other people pet them and people are touched by them. But not everybody does what you did. So what I would love to know is what about you, like what inside you triggered that desire to make this into something else? Maybe at the time you had no idea what was going to happen. Maybe you just wanted to bring Polo around and bring some more smiles to people's faces. But what was it inside of you that was going on that you were like, you know what, maybe I should do this more often?
I think you have to be in tune with your feelings. And for somebody like myself, I was going through a tougher time than normal people. Yeah, I would, not like I wasn't normal, but I would say you're going through dark moments. Yeah. And when you feel something that powerful through your dog, which makes you so happy, which all dog owners can relate, we became a team throughout the few months that we created his Instagram page, but the team wasn't doing anything to give back to the community. Yeah, and I said to myself, my life is meaningful, and I think everybody's life is. But to be able to create happiness and inject love into situations, for me became super important because I've known what the bottom feels like. And I know at that walk, that survivor and other survivors that walk so proudly, don't always walk so proudly. They're going through flashbacks of the chemo and everything else that they go through and went through when they heard you have breast cancer, So I've had my battles in hospital rooms as a kid, and I knew what I need to do as a human to kind of bring happiness to the world. And what a better way to do it with your dog that everybody loves. Proudly say that because he is a loving dog.
He's quite famous.
For sure. And I just wanted to go into hospital rooms, really. And because of what I just told you, me being a child in hospitals, going back and forth for ulcerative colitis reasons. So I trained him for 6 months. And it took a lot of time, but he finally got certified. Registered, certified, you could say. And I just said to myself, there's no better feeling in the world to do this than to help the community and help people in need. And, it took a lot of dedication and work. And like you said, not everybody does that with their dog. And I was fortunate that I had time on my side.
Yeah.
I was only 25 at the time. And I needed to turn my life around in a positive way. So I just went with, like you asked for, I went with the feeling, and I felt something powerful, and I just wanted to keep giving that feeling to the world because it does die down. Yeah. We do help people, and then all of a sudden, you're not on that high for so long.
Right.
You have to keep doing it to get back up there, and you have to keep doing it to bring people up there. So it just became a reaction.
Yeah, so tell us about the experience that you had as a kid going through the motions and being sick, because as everybody knows, it takes a special person who has gone through a lot to be able to provide that care for other people, to have that compassion and that empathy. And sometimes these terrible things that happen to us work for our good and the good of those around us. So our mess becomes a blessing, our illness, our disease, a lot of that, our mental state at the time, all of these things, once we surpass them, they become our fuel to help others come out of those spaces as well. So how was that for you? At what point did you say, I want more out of my life. I want to be able to provide more. And I know that maybe as a kid, it wasn't so evident, but what kind of support did you have in your upbringing that allowed you to become the person that you are today?
Well, my mom, for sure. It was with me every step of the way, taking me to blood works and the colonoscopies and whatnot, spending 17 days in the hospital room. Who was there always for me? Obviously, my father in and out, but my mother was glued, which a lot of great moms do, yeah. But my mom was definitely the reason why I kind of was always leveled and didn't let me feel unconfident about my life and say, all right, I'm a failure. God chose me to be cursed, if you could say, because if I could speak into instances when I was at that hospital room, you do look up and you say, why me? You do wonder why, quote unquote, Billy the bully is not going through this, but the good kid that doesn't do anything to anybody is suffering at these moments of their childhood when everybody's out playing.
Yeah.
You're out there in the hospital.
How old are you?
My first flare-up was about 10. I didn't really go through the motions and hardcore flares until I was about 11, turning 12.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
tough age.
If I could speak on it a little bit more, honestly, the first time I'm probably opening up about this on camera. Really, I really hated life. I'm not gonna lie to you because one, like I said, you think that you're cursed because of this. Yeah, like what did I do to deserve this? Then you finally get healthy. The hospital gets you healthy, thank God. And then you're on these medications. Your face starts to get a little swollen because you're on prednisones and stuff like this. And all of a sudden, you go back to school. So you think, oh, now with my friends, they're gonna accept me. Like they missed me. One kid in particular started the name calling, and you're already going through that darkness and void of not being in school. Now you go to school thinking it's going to bring you back to your joy, and now the kid starts to bully you, and now if they sense weakness, which is what bullies do the best, they sense a weak one, and it just turns into everybody gang up on you and name call. So you go home and you're like, you don't want to be here anymore, So I've went through that path of my life where not the easiest. You become shy because of that. You don't want to talk anymore. You feel like you're the outcast of the group of friends now because you're battling something internally. It was tough, but my mom, like I said, really helped me stay leveled. And eventually I broke out of that,
Yeah.
You get healthy enough, you start working out. When you get a little older, they don't bully you anymore. You stand up for yourself, and it's just
What would you say to those kids now that put you through so much back then?
What can I tell them? Thank you. I think thank you is good. I would never wish anything like that for their own kids. And I think through karma, they probably felt some things in their own lives where they shouldn't be doing that to people. The way you treat people is super important. We have the power as individuals to make you feel here and make you feel here. And that's all about injecting certain situations of your own energy into other people. So I think we always have to inject love. And that's my message to everybody that is in life, whether you did something bad to me or good to me. What we inject into situations is what becomes. So we inject love, and love spreads, and just as easily the hate spreads as well, and the bullying. So that's something that I don't think any parent wants their kid to go through, or anybody wants to see in their own lives.
Of course. I personally can't stand bullies. I stand up to bullies, and it really saddens me to hear that. But a lot of the people who turn out to be amazing, I guess, influencers for life and everything else, are people who have suffered, who have gone through so much. And at the time, like you said, it's easy to say, why me? Because we never know what's around the corner. We never see what God has prepared for us, or the universe, or whatever you want to call it. It's easier to just look at the plight and the negativity and all the bad and wonder, like, what's the purpose of this? Like, you get so immersed in that. But I'm grateful that you were able to get through it, and look at everything you've done now. Like, you've made such a massive impact. So when I asked you, what would you say to these people now, because they're grown men, and if they were to see what you've done, I'm sure that they would feel really, really, really bad. And I've heard of instances of bullies, of course, growing up and being super remorseful about what they did. And sometimes they feed off of the other kids around them, or they're a product of their own environment, their household environment. So to have that compassion many years later for them is admirable, and to continue with the message of love. Like, you got to love people regardless, right? Whether they want to be loved or not, I think, and the rest is up to them. But now let's talk about where the movement is headed, because it has exploded so much. And I came to know you because of Zumba, the Zumba world. So tell us a little bit about that journey, because I'm sure that a lot of people want to hear your story. We were recently in Orlando at the Zumba convention, and I love the video that Ronnie played for you.
Yeah.
That video was so beautiful, and I actually have video of you watching the video that I'm gonna share later. But who was it? Like, if you go back, and how did that all start for you?
With Zumba and Spread Love, how did that get introduced? So it's a pretty unique story. I don't dance in that matter. I got 2 left feet, guys. So the reason why you never see me at these awesome events dancing is because I don't like to embarrass myself. And
Yeah.
but we have a great message, Spread Love. Yeah. And a good friend of ours back in, I think, 2014 or 15, bought a hat and gifted it to Gerard Patolano, which is a great instructor in Long Island. And I see this gentleman wearing our hat religiously. Like, every hat I had, he just kept buying another one and wearing it. And long story short, he has about 20.
Wow.
And I'm like, what's Zumba about? Like, what's this guy?
So he has more hats than me.
Definitely. He was the originator and the record holder, but there are some addicted people to this brand, thank God, and the message that probably, sorry, Gerard, you lost out on the #1 spot. Maybe to Mary, I don't know. But I ended up at his event in October. It was so funny. It was Sunday. Today's Tuesday. We actually went back to the chat, and we saw, I think it was like October 4th that we kind of finally met. We did a event in Lucille Roberts with him for breast cancer awareness, which the Zumba community does so much with Party in Pink programs.
Yeah.
That they raise so much awareness and funds for. And I met him that day, and I brought a whole bunch of hats, and his community started supporting, and then it started to spread little by little. No pun intended, right? It just started to spread, and somebody he used to do what's these things called, music with the playlist. Playlist for people. And somebody out in Arizona started finding out about Spread Love, Gina Levins, and all of a sudden her and her community, her, Kenya, and Nikki started to wear my stuff, and Ronnie, which you mentioned, started to do his choreos and stuff like that. And long story short, it's probably a year later, and these 3 lovely ladies are wearing Spread Love. And Ronnie just did a video for Zumba called Spread Love, where it was kids battling children's obesity. Mm-hmm. It was raising awareness for that, and he was the choreo and the lead guy in that video, so it kind of resonated with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he asked, oh, what's that hat about? So nice, all of you are wearing it. And Nikki said, I'll get you a hat. It's this guy with his dog, and he does this so much. It's not just a hat. And long story short, we sent him a hat that she bought, and all I did was put the card that's on every product that we send out, and he ended up reaching out to me, and I didn't see the message, and he sent me an essay of introducing himself.
Really? What did he say? I'm curious. You remember?
I remember almost word for word, but we'll paraphrase it for you guys. And he introduced himself, and he said, hey, my name is Ronnie Gratorod. I'm an international Zumba presenter. I do choreography, this, that. I want to help you, sir, and I want to call my 2017 tour the Spread Love Tour. And what's my idea here? Well, I don't want nothing from you, and I just want people on my tour to support you. And when I end up in, let's say, Canada, example, I want people already to have your stuff when I'm there, so we can dance as a community wearing your product and your message. And, it sounded real good to me, because this is on the early on of my journey. So anybody that wants to spread you out to the world now is kind of like a big deal for you, yeah, and us. So I end up, I'm not doing this texting. I'm not a texter. Let's get on the phone. We get on the phone. I send him a box of goods. He does a live video on Facebook, and as he's doing this live video, I start getting orders from around the country and some places in the world. So I was like, whoa, this guy's powerful, and this community is pretty awesome. And it just trickled into stick with me, Josh, and come to my events. And I was already doing events, thank God, in the New York, New Jersey area with local members like Gerard and Amy and Christine and Leo and Sylvia and everybody, Jasmine and the whole New York City community. So it just started to spread, and I saw an opportunity for myself and our brand and learn about what Zumba's all about. And they're all about spreading love, and they're all about happiness and making people feel great. And, I started to see resemblances in myself and Polo, what we do in the community, and people like yourself and Ronnie and all the Zumba instructors in the world, where they stand on stages and spread their love and make their people feel great. So it kind of became a uniform for them as well, where, hey, they were a Zumba shirt and they were a Spread Love hat, and it just became
That's the standard uniform, I think.
a domino effect. And we also have to give a lot of thanks to the owners. And I went on the Zumba cruise for the first time back in 2016 or 17, and I gifted Beto Perez, the owner, a hat, and I let him know who I am and what I do. And I guess he's seen it through Ronnie and through Loretta, that she wore it on a live stream back in, I think it was January of that year. And I introduced myself, and I gave him a one sheet, and I said, this is who I am. And I made him a custom hat that had his country's flag on there, which was Colombia. And, when the owner shows you that type of love of taking his own personal hat off his head and wears your hat in front of his awesome community, he basically opened the door for you to say, hey, you are a part of us, you're family for us. And, anything that we can do to help you and your mission and your movement, our community has your ear, our ear is for your community, and do what you can. Yeah. And I could say, honestly, I took advantage of an opportunity that people gave me and blessed me with. I think if you look around, and this is a message to everybody, we all are given opportunities. It's what you make out of the opportunity. So for me, I can tell you guys all honestly, I invested a lot into this community. They invested a lot into me. I took road trips to Orlando. I've taken flights to Japan with this community. I went down to Puerto Rico to help the people of Puerto Rico with a lot of the Zumba community's help. I've done tours with them, and I've used their community side by side as partners with the Zen community to keep this message strong and to keep spreading this love in the world. And not to talk too much, but you really have to take advantage of what people give you as a gift, So when the owner opens his door for you and says, this is our community, go help more people. If Ronnie opens his door and says, this is my audience, do what you can with them. And this is God's gift to us. We were helping out so many people that we were able to create such a strong unity between both of us and help as many people as we can. And a lot of more opportunities came because of that. So I'm very grateful and honored always.
Yeah, and it is a strong bond between the people and the brand, because everywhere you look, and I remember being in Orlando, and I said to my best friend, take a look around. I said, 99% of the people here are wearing Spread Love. I was just in awe, because we are at the Zumba convention where everything they sell is Zumba, 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 Zumba branded. But like you said, the hat, there's the hoodie, there's the shirt, 99%. And I said to myself, that Josh better be proud of himself, because this was massive. And yeah, I've seen it here and there at different events and classes. Even in my own classes, people wear the tangs, the participants. But to see a sea of people, thousands of people really, that's huge. What a blessing, and what a way to really continue to perpetuate that positivity. Because you cannot wear the clothing and feel a certain way. You're like, okay, you're putting on, it's like a uniform, and you know that you are putting it on for a purpose. You want people to look at it and see the word love. Like, I wear my stuff everywhere, as you know. I'm always in Spread Love gear. When I'm recording my podcast, as soon as I'm done teaching my classes, I'll put the hoodie on. That's like my uniform, because that's how I feel. I want people, even if they don't talk to me, to look at what I'm wearing and say, oh, love. It's just to think of the word love.
Yeah.
And it changes you.
I'll tell you honestly, like, I think it was last year, I was at this convention again in Orlando, and this is the first time everybody's back together after COVID. There was a big break, and obviously the attendance is much lower, so the interactions with people are a lot more in-depth.
Yeah.
Not like a high and by. Sometimes you see somebody, you haven't seen them in a long time, and you have a little bit more of a conversation. I remember like what you're saying, right? Like I see a lot of people wearing this at somebody else's convention, like a Zumba convention. There's wearing a lot of my stuff, and they're stopping you. They take pictures with you, and you're basically a light for a lot of people, which I've never thought I don't look at myself like that. I don't talk about myself like that. I don't brag.
A celebrity.
I don't brag about myself.
You need to
in that
accept
manner.
it.
Yeah, I'm very like inclusive to myself.
Yeah.
I'm not like one of those people that says, "Look at me,"
Right.
So when you feel that type of rush of love in the 2-3 days that you're there, and you're like, "Oh my God!" So I remember sitting down with this lady, Cassandra Williams, I think her last name, and I'm like talking to her. I'm like, "This is there's like a pinch me moment where I said, how do people view me? Like I'm being stopped, and I'm not a dancer in their community. You know what I mean? I'm not a presenter. I'm not the owner. I'm not this. I'm not, but I know who I am." And for you to feel that there, like, whoa, people look at you, love you, how want to support you, how can I bless you, where can I get more clothes? Like just whole stories. Like I was telling you before we started this podcast, like next year I want to bring a camera so people can actually see what this conversation that we're having and bring it into light. I started to really get emotional, and I sat down by the steps, and I said, "Yeah, this is crazy. This is my purpose in life." Like that was a moment for me to say, everything I prayed for in life when I first started, when you got no support, when nobody believed in me, when I said to people, we're going to go into hospital rooms and help kids. This is the way to support. And you gain no support because of that, because people don't know you as that. So you have to build. And I took a one step, baby step, legit, I swear to God. No influencer marketing, no celebrity,
media,
no celebrity endorsements to say, this is Joshua, now we're going to bring you from here to here. No Shark Tank to bring you from here to here. Nobody like that. It was really community one-on-ones, and these community events and partnering with organizations like ACS and doing give back programs with Dario and Gina Wonder. We buy a sweater and we give back a sweater with the Wonder Love program. These type of things that we did built Red Love, not the money into marketing. You know what I mean? It really was this one-on-one experience for people. That's how I really want to leave our trademark on the world. It's how we made you feel with him and I and everybody that wears the clothes. So I really had an emotional moment, and I cried to myself, and she held me. She goes, this is who you are. This is your blessing. This is what people view you as, and you just have to keep it going. And, sometimes you get impatient because you want to get further in life than what you're supposed to happen. But I promise the world, like, you just keep chipping away. And when your time is supposed to happen, it's happened. And I think I'm almost at that point in my life where, whoa, 10 years in October 15th is going to be 10 years. I'm like, a lot of opportunity came my way, thank God.
So are we going to see a special 10th anniversary line?
Yeah, but it won't be released on October 15th because of so much that was going on behind the scenes. It'll happen in the 10th year, and it'll be a very powerful 10th year. So the collection will happen at some point, and it'll probably be the best one ever because that one has to have a lot of elevation to the products.
Of course.
Fabrics we never used. Hopefully great artists that are out there in the world that I could put together quick and say, hey, help me with a great collection. This is who we want to be as a beneficiary for partial proceeds of what we're going to do, So you will see something amazing.
Well, I can't wait to see. I want one of everything, okay? Just so you know, we're just going to leave it at that. But tell us about the Give Back program, because one thing about you, Josh, is that, okay, everybody wants to know you because you're behind the brand. But how many people truly, truly know you and know your heart and know that you basically sell one hoodie, but then you just gave away another hoodie.
Yeah,
So you get the money coming in on one side, but then it goes the other way.
I talked to my accountant. He's like, "Are you making money? Like, you're not making money doing this." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's so good."
But
One day
that's
it'll
the
happen,
thing.
you know.
Like,
We'll chip away, and maybe we'll do bigger give backs and stuff.
yes, but that's right there, what you just said. Because for some of us, the more we make, the more goes out.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's beautiful. And a lot of people, I think, need to understand that spread love is not just something that a hoodie or a hat or whatever that you're selling. You're not selling an actual product. You're actually giving so much to the community that, like, people need to just know that this is not a massively profitable thing that you were.
Oh yeah, I wish it was, right? I mean, I'd be in a different house, different vehicle, different
different lifestyle. You wouldn't be driving all the way down to Orlando, but
I would have a driver drive me to Orlando, right? At this point.
But that's the thing that I just love about you. Your heart is so big and you don't focus on that. You're like,
Thank
okay, how can I? You went to Mexico and you gave away so much. In the winter time, you go out into the streets and you just give hoodies away. Now, all of this costs money.
Time and money, correct.
Time and money. You got to put in those orders.
Storage,
everything.
You know, I have a good friend of mine. His name is Steve Seuss, and back in 2021, he kind of like brought a lot of that, what you said, to attention on a live stream that we did. You know, look, this is my mission in life, right? And whoever helps, and whoever doesn't, I still find a way to make it work. Whether, hey, somebody else needs to sponsor these trips to Mexico, but we're still going to put it together. We're still going to find It's From the Soul, a great organization that gives back so many sneakers to less fortunate people all around the world. I think they just hit 39,000 sneakers. To almost 18, 19 countries around the world. And, you know, we helped bring him to Orlando recently with the help of Turn Up Dance Fitness. And like you said, in January of this year, we put it together with his help, obviously, and the help of the Caribbean Experience, sponsoring a lot of our expenses and bringing down 300 plus brand new pairs of sneakers to less fortunate children in a community where they have... I don't want to talk about it. It's just not what we have here. Right. The resources that we are so blessed to have. I think that also drives me because I really value my health now. I value what I have in my life. And even if I'm not making so much money, at least I still have a mission in my life and the fuel in my heart and the health on my side and a big support team to say, you know, this is next. How can we make this happen? Mm-hmm. And we worry about the other stuff later. You know what I mean? I'm 35 years old, thank God, and I still have a big future ahead. And
you sure do.
Coming up on 10 years, and I look back and I'm like, wow, I did all this with no team. Imagine when the team comes into play, which is what's being created at the moment. So the first 10 is hard. I think, God willing, if we were still doing podcasts in the next 10 years, I think we're going to sit here in another conversation about, whoa, those last 10 years, what happened in those last 10 years? Because the first 10 years you're creating, and I think we're still in the process of...
You're still in the infancy, and there's a lot that's coming, but your values and your mission, that's what's driving you, and the people around you, of course, need to also have the same mission and vision.
Thank God we have this mission and vision, because now the conversations with, let's say, a Lifetime Athletics, you know, they have a mission of wellness, and now you're providing wellness for the community. So you're able to help their programs and hopefully create what you do in the community for clubs and other brands, and then the partnerships happen. So the first 10 wasn't really a lot of partnerships, but let's say about the next 10, you have a message of spreading love. You have a message of helping others. You have a message of selflessness. And, you know, everybody needs to live with their heart on their sleeve. Everybody needs to be selfless in life. And I think when you are a leader in that category for yourself, and I'm not talking about the leader of the world because I'm not, you're just a leader in your own way of how you view the world and how you want to use your 24 hours to help so-and-so. Others follow, and others get inspired. And I really want to, this next 10 years, really, like I said when this beginning of this conversation, maybe maybe the conversation needs to be spread love kids, and start tapping into how we can influence the kids to not only be so united when they're 3 to 4 years old, 5 years old, but there's a deficiency that happens from 5 to 10. But if we could keep that unity involved and they don't see certain things from their parents or social media or these phones that we're so glued to, we can keep the love going because they're so pure. And I think that's kind of what I need to start registering for myself. It's great we built the adult audience, but let's help this younger generation stay all about love and all about, hey, you're white, I'm black, or this and this. And we don't see any of that stuff that is being shown on
that's right.
news outlets or platforms or whatever it is. There's no, keep that love together, keep the unity together, And I think that'll be super powerful. And I think that needs to be top of mind in end of 2023 into 2024 for us. And Polo is a great example of how I always see how dogs are a message of unity, and they don't see any of that stuff. They just give love, and that's how, honestly, he kind of helped me raise me and change my life around. So
that's right. And a lot of kids right now, I think that there's also that mental health aspect to things, and that's how they end up interacting with each other too from that space. So you see yourself going a little bit more into that area of mental health awareness?
Yeah, I think this is a great podcast to open me up about my childhood. And I think I need to do a better job of just talking about my own personal experiences with life, And I think growing up, I was probably shying away from a lot of this conversation of judgment of what you say will used against you. But hey, what you say will be used in benefit of a lot of people as well. So I have battled a lot of battles on multiple scales of a lot of things where I went up and I'm down. And the down takes a long time to get up. So I need to talk about that experiences too. And we will. I think once you start to do more of these podcasts and once you start wanting to do more of these podcasts and put yourself out there in the world, and maybe you are now a voice for certain communities that need a light of, hey, you were here, but now you're here, or you go here. What do you do when you're here?
So what do you do when those thoughts come back? Because I know that sometimes we can speak from a place of healing. Sometimes we speak from a place of still experiencing that pain from the memories. And that's totally understandable because for a lot of people, it can take a lifetime to overcome a lot of that. I've been through a lot myself, and I can speak from a place of healing because I'm there, but also I'm a lot older than you. So I've lived more, I've had more tools to help me get there. So where are you with all of that? And what do you do when those moments do come?
Where am I now? I'm in a great place, honestly. I would say in 2020, I went through a down spiral. And I would say I did that because I was burning myself out, one. And then two, that whole connection with people stopped. I couldn't go into the hospital rooms. I wanted to do something for the nurses and doctors, and people say, well, everybody's doing that. So that I should have done that. I'm not going to lie. I should have done that because that's what the in-tuneness of what helps me keep going and get to the next step of happiness and love and what we need to do as a mission and brand. So I didn't do that, and I went down. And then I kept going down. And then I stayed down. And then what really got me out was, your close friends really picking you back up. One, but I would tell people it's always, for me, what helps is helping people. I will never, as long as I'm helping people and I'm having a little breaks where I can work out and, stay in shape and, talk to your friends and go out here and there, that's my level, but helping people always gives me that feeling. And it's so ironic, right? Because people on this will be like, well, I'm the one that needs help. So how am I going to help somebody else when I'm the one that needs the help?
Yeah.
But it is something special happens, especially if you're open to it. When you help people selflessly, you get a special feeling inside.
Yeah.
And that's what really brings you over the top.
And that's one of the best remedies. That's what a lot of the times we go through therapy and we have a lot of issues in our minds, all of these scenarios that we go back to think about. The best remedy is to go do for somebody else, because that is healing. And even though we're doing it for somebody else, we're still doing it for us.
Yeah.
So there's like a double benefit there. You're
It's the most selfish thing to be selfless, huh?
Yes. Heck yeah.
And I listen. If you know, I guess you could say, but I think everybody should know that when you're in those moments, try to do something for somebody else, and then you'll feel something great. Whether that's, going to the shelter and helping less fortunate people there by, being a part of the pantry, or going to help somebody on the side of the street, or, being involved in a community effort where you're a volunteer. Volunteering really helped me change my whole outlook on life. The whole volunteer aspect of doing it without getting paid, with Polo involved, obviously, in the beginning.
That's to see people smiling, right?
Oh, man, I mean, how the hell did I get so far in the beginning with no support? It was the smiles, yeah? It was the walking out of a room, moving to another room, seeing the happiness you could create. Even though there's sad moments there, don't get me wrong, yeah? I mean, you're human, so you'll feel, yeah, this kid is going to be like this forever. So you feel that, and big shout out to these moms, dads, doctors, nurses, and everybody that's involved in the closed wall experience of the hospital rooms, because there's a lot of battle there. But what I was doing with him and what we do with him is creating happiness for others. Yeah. So that always stays top of mind when we're in these hospital rooms, when we were there. And, that's kind of what fuels the fire, not monetary.
Yeah. That's the mission for our lives, is to continue to spread that positivity and light and to leave a legacy, because we're not going to be around forever. But what you're building is something that will continue to tell the story. And I'm happy and grateful that I get to expand on that I get to show you off to the world, in a different way, and ask you these questions. So I'm grateful for you for being here today. But tell us now, what's coming up in 2024 with Spread Love. I know that you have all of these strategic partnerships coming up. I don't know what you can discuss or not, but how do you feel about the future?
Yeah, a lot of things are still in preliminary conversation, but it is looking like a bright 2024 and beyond, with certain partnerships hopefully in the works. But to expand on what was before and what's now, I think it's my most confident year ahead. You just hit a milestone in October. You're building a great partnership with the American Cancer Society, where we're at 9 of their walks again this year, and building something with dance fitness programs around the world and around the country. Trying to influence people how to spread more love. And then, like I talked to you before, I want to create a kids program. So that's something that's really in the works. It's here now. And it's on the computer. Now it's how do you make it work in a professional manner where it could be a domino effect.
Yeah.
And 2024 is a lot of dominoes and a lot of these doors that we worked so hard knocking for 10 years. The door slightly opening. God willing, we push through them and say we're here. Yeah. And this is the programs we create, and this is the way we can help the community, and this is the way people could be influenced, and this is the way everybody can use their own energy and their own love, and through articles of clothing or not, that doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, for me, it's my focus. I'm not going to lie and sit here like we don't care about sales. That's not true. But hey, creating a powerful clothing brand that gives back to the community is something that I take a lot of pride in now. I didn't go to school to learn about designs and stuff like that. What you're wearing is something that I kind of saw, like, nobody has these type of things, the communities that support us are very colorful and vibrant. Like, they wear these flannels and booty capes and stuff like that. So why not create them something that's like,
it pops
and is wow, and I came out with that in August as like a little teaser, and I'm telling you, like, it was flooded. So, I mean, it gives me a lot of confidence that I know what I'm doing. This hat that I created with Daria Wonder and Gina Wonder with the Wonder Love program. Look at it. I mean, you just came out with a heart that feels like a fuzzy heart.
It is great. I saw a lot of people wearing this at the convention too.
Got a whole bunch of designs with Jason Nilla collaboration that we've done in the past. And you got a colorful heart that's not just solid one color. You gave depth into your words. You know, you have details on all your stuff. You're not just going to the shop and just printing the word spread love anymore.
Right.
Like it's
an elevated experience.
It's an elevated experience. I write handwritten notes for people when they shop with us online. You know, when you meet us in person, like give you a hug and say thank you. You know, like, yeah, this is my sauce.
Right.
Of that one-on-one that I've been saying so much on this podcast.
So what would you say to somebody who's young out there, wants to create their own brand, their own movement, based on everything that you've learned over the last 10 years?
Oh, man.
What is like maybe 3 solid pieces of advice that you could give them if they're just starting?
Patience. 1, 2, and 3, I think, is patience, but the willpower. And make sure you have a good why. Like, what's the reason you're creating this mission brand? It has to have something that resonates with what is meaningful to you. Otherwise, you're going to run out of gas, you know, or you're going to run out of ideas. You know what I mean? So I would say patience, your why, and try to find somebody as a mentor, as a teacher to help you cut years and don't take such big losses in the step-by-step process, you know, and listen to people, though.
But you can't listen to everybody.
You know, but just find somebody that's done it before. Don't take advice from people that you don't want to be like. You know, like I think that's the most powerful thing I could tell anybody in the world. If you take advice from regular people that don't know anything, like they're not helping you. Like if Damon John gives me advice, example, this is what I did with FUBU, this is what you need to do.
And you know, because there's the evidence.
See it again. Yeah, you're going to listen.
Yeah.
Because he has experience. He's done it before. Oh, you're doing this, you're going to fail. 100%. Like, they're going to tell you, don't do this, you know? And you got to listen to those people that give you that knowledge. So anybody that wants to start out, young or not, I mean, I don't think it's too late, but a young entrepreneur that sees and has that in-tuneness that this is my calling, make sure you have those 3 things. And I think you'll have a higher percentage of making it in life, you know?
So patience.
A mentor,
and strong willpower. Right?
You need that willpower. Even though you have 1 and 2, if you don't have the willpower to do it every day.
Because it's very easy to want to give up, to look around you and say, oh man, this isn't working. This is so hard. Why am I not where I should be? How come other people are already there and I'm not there? So there's a lot of conversations that you end up having with yourself. But I want to ask you now, what does a day in the life of Josh look like?
Every day is different. Scrambling, like thoughts come into mind. I mean, obviously, you know, I try to build out now strategic things that we need to be doing as partners with other people or organizations. Orders need to go out. Making sure you're aligned on giving back to the community is something that I've always needs to like, okay, well, this month is coming up, so how are we giving back? Okay, this partnership is coming up.
Yeah.
Who's the give back program? Okay, they're the give back program, but how are we going to be able to do it? Those are the days in my life, you know. Occasionally, personal, I could go out here and there and enjoy some time on a rooftop.
On a rooftop.
On a rooftop with a sunset. That's my vibe. Yeah, I like to like
by yourself or with somebody.
Some friends, of course. Yeah.
Because you're still single, Josh.
Oh yeah. Fortunately, unfortunately, you know.
So we're looking for a.
No, this is turning into a different podcast now. Oh man.
No, I think you just need to.
So what's your age bracket, Josh? Because you know there are some ladies watching there. So
geographically speaking,
warm weather,
like dogs.
Yeah, good heart.
And good heart. You know, must like to enjoy rooftop sunsets. But no, I thank you so very much for being here and for doing this with me, and it means a lot.
Oh, it means a lot to us too. Thank you so much for having us here and being able to use our voice to inspire, hopefully, and hopefully somebody out there uses their heart a little bit more to spread a little bit more love. And I think everybody has the power to do that.
That's right.
You just got to find that little sauce of yours to say, this is my way of doing it. Whether you're a teacher, that's a big way. Doctor.
Everybody has
something. You're a musician, people that make beats, like there's so many ways to look at like, well, I spread love too. We all do. It's just what you do with it and how you're able to write it and put more meaning into it.
That's right. That's right. So with that, we will leave you. Thank you for being here on Get Intentional with Mary, and continue to spread the love and share this episode with your friends. You never know who you're going to be inspiring. Maybe there's somebody out there who wants to do this, who wants to reach out to the community, who maybe wants to reach out to Josh. So Josh, tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh yeah. So Polo spreads love on his Instagram, www.polospreadslove.com. My name is Joshua Saadi. You can find me on different platforms too. And, wear an article of clothing, help us out, do more in the community, and help us give back more love to the people in need. So,
yes, love it. Thank you.
Of course.
Good job.
You're amazing.
You're amazing. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this amazing conversation with Joshua. And if you happen to be part of the Zumba community or would like to surround yourself with some very happy people, join me in Costa Rica. Get ready to truly immerse yourself in the Pura Vida lifestyle. We're going to do some amazing things together. More information, www.marymassey.com/Costa Rica. We leave the first week of March in 2024. Once again, thank you for being here on Get Intentional with Mary.